YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Nita Bita coming back at you. I just posted a video just last night, and it was about this bag right here. I purchased this item from eBay, and if you watch my video from last night, I talked about how I wasn't sure if it was fake or real. I really had some questions about it, and I had put in an order for Authenticate First, which is the authentication company that I normally use. And I've had great success with them, and they usually get back to you really quickly. So I was very excited to get word back from them this morning that this is not an authentic bag, at least from their perspective. It's not authentic. So I will be sending this item back. But what I really wanted to talk to you guys about, because I know nothing really about Fendi. This is my first Fendi purse ever, or first Fendi bag ever. So I wasn't, I buy, in terms of luxury items, have a lot more Louis Vuitton. Like I have mostly Louis Vuitton. And I've gotten pretty good at identifying or recognizing when something is real, a real Louis Vuitton item versus something that's not or suspect, right? But because I had no experience with this one, but I suspected, like it just didn't look quite right to me, or didn't look like something that I would expect to cost as much as it allegedly costs, right? This bag, for those who don't know, is supposedly a $3,200 bag from Fendi. And there were a lot of red flags when I received the item. The first red flag, and that's what I really want to talk about here today, are the red flags, the things to look for. First of all, first and foremost, you should always get your luxury items authenticated. Whether you buy from eBay, especially if you buy from eBay. I think that's one of the number one spot, I would say, where you're going to get some fake items. The seller actually had 100% positive on her ratings, and I mentioned a little bit about this on my last video, that sometimes people, when they buy items, they don't know that the item is not real, right? If they don't buy a lot of luxury items. But even if they do, if they're not familiar with that particular brand, they may think something is authentic and it's not. They may not take the time or the expense to get things authenticated, which if you're going to buy luxury, you absolutely have to. Even, quite frankly, even if you're buying directly from, I've never gotten an item that I bought directly from Louis Vuitton authenticated. I haven't gone that far yet, but there are so many super fakes out here now. And, some people are just scammers at heart. They may buy something from, actual, Louis Vuitton store, for example, or any store, Chanel. All of these stores, most of these luxury brands will allow you to return an item within, I think, 14 to 30 days, depending on the store. And so people could buy super fakes and then return that super fake to the actual store. And I don't know, maybe they wouldn't know. I think I saw a video here some months back where someone got an item that they thought was not real it wasn't directly from that store. I think it was from like maybe a Saks Fifth Avenue or something like that. But it was still a high-end store. And so they were suspicious about it being fake, and they returned it based on that premise. So you have to be careful. Certainly if you buy directly from the manufacturer, you probably, much more likely that it's not fake. But still, if you have any suspicion, get something authenticated. But certainly if you're buying from these secondhand stores. I don't normally get my things authenticated from Fashionphile because I trust them pretty well. But going forward, I think I'm going to start getting my things authenticated from them as well, because of what I'm going to tell you next. So the seller on eBay had this bag listed. She shipped it to me. And again, without going into all the details of this bag, but, it just doesn't look like something that costs, $3,200, especially if it's supposed to be new. This is supposedly a new bag, unused. there's just a weird crease back there. But you know, sometimes even Louis Vuitton, like with their like Neverfulls and Speedies, they sell them folded, and so they're gonna have these dents in them. But one of the biggest issues for me was it just kept falling over, and the size was just all wrong. Every place I looked online for this bag had only one size available, and it was like like an extra large bag. The dimensions that I looked at that the seller was selling that showed the dimensions that the seller indicated on eBay for her listing were smaller. It was like 2 inches smaller than what it was supposed to be based on what Fashionphile, because Fashionphile had a bag like this, as well as what store? The actual Fendi store. Fendi has this bag listed on their website. The dimensions were off, 2 inches shorter, lengthwise, and then height-wise, it was also, I think, 2 or 3 inches shorter. So that didn't add up for me. So nevertheless, another thing that was off. This is the receipt that she included. Now, she never said to me that, hey, this bag is, I purchased it from Fashionphile, so I would have never known. Honestly, if she hadn't included this, I would have never even suspected anything beyond, my actually looking at the bag. But this Fashionphile receipt was suspect to me for a couple reasons. Let me put the bag down. I purchased from Fashionphile. She said according to the receipt, this was purchased April. Let me put this closer. April of this year. This is not how Fashionphile receipts look. I actually have a receipt here from April, from the item that I purchased, and Fashionphile need not include my address here. But here's my receipt. See how this is like totally different? Let me move this over. Like I said, I don't want to include my address on mine. But like, if you look at the two receipts, Fashionphile doesn't even include their name at the top anymore. Or I don't know if they ever did. I don't know, where she got this from. Maybe this is how they did their receipts in the past. And when I first got it, I thought, well, maybe that's an old receipt. I didn't think too much about it at the time. But take a look. This is totally different. The bag, they actually, on their receipts, they actually give you a picture of the item that you're receiving. They give you a detailed description of it, the cost, the breakdown, and they indicate on here very clearly that you have until June 7th, in this case, because I purchased this on April 9th, and so they gave you like an extra 30 days to return items because of COVID. So I had like 2 months to return this. And then they also tell you here, okay, it doesn't say it on this receipt. But on my other receipts, it talks about the buyback program, which will allow you to, I guess they only do it on certain items. So if on certain items, like on their bags, I think it's just on their bags because one of the items is a pair of boots and the other one, this is sunglasses. But on the bag receipt that I have another receipt from Fashionphile. This is from December. Again, I'll show you this one. Even from December, the receipts are exactly the same. The difference here on the December one is they tell you that the buyback program. So you have a buyback program with Fashionphile. They'll buy your item back if it's a bag within 6 months, and you'll get 70% of what you paid. Right? So if this lady actually paid what she claimed she paid, this was actually from Fashionphile, and she says she's paid $2,300 for the item, she could have sold it back to Fashionphile, even though it's past the 30 days that she could return it. She could sell it back to Fashionphile and get 70% of $2,300, which is what, more than $1,400, $1,500. So it didn't even make sense for her to be selling this on eBay. The reality is, if she had not included this Fashionphile receipt with the package, that would have been one less red flag for me. But since she included it, this is my opportunity and your opportunity, if you ever buy on eBay, to have more evidence, more stuff to look at, to scrutinize, to make sure that you're not being scammed. So again, this is not how a Fashionphile receipt looks. And also the other thing, because initially, like I said, when I saw the receipt, I was like, oh, cool. She included a receipt of where she bought it, but it didn't look right, right? But also the description that she has on here, she describes this according to her as Fendi canvas vitello large peekaboo logo X-tote large. If it were a large size, it would have been 18 inches in width. It would not have been the 16, which is what this one is. I did see on, like as I was doing my Google search, I think Fashionphile actually has like a medium size Fendi tote similar, but it's not the same design. It's like the FF, it's like the Fendi with all the F's on one side. That one does come, I guess, in a medium size because Fashionphile has it on their actual website. But this particular style did not come in a medium size. At least I haven't seen it. So for her to put this description here was suspect because Fashionphile wouldn't misdescribe, at least in my experience, no one's perfect, but in my experience, this is not how it would. If this was the exact bag from Fashionphile, it would have had a correct description. So already I've gone through 3 items that didn't look right. The bag itself just doesn't look right. It's kind of frumpy looking. The receipt that was included doesn't match the receipts that I have, and of course, if you had never bought from Fashionphile, you may not know what the receipts look like. The description was incorrect on here for Fashionphile, and the policy. Like I said, if you shop with Fashionphile and you're buying bags, you know that you can return a bag and get 70% of what you paid within 6 months, even if you're past the 30-day or 60-day return window. You have 6 months to return it, and they'll give you 70% of what you paid. So it just didn't make sense. All right, so that was 3 things. And then the last thing is how it was shipped. This is the box that it came in. Who sends a $3,000 luxury item like this? Like, who does that? There was no additional packaging. It was just the bag, and it was inside plastic and inside the actual duffel bag. That was it. It was inside 2 plastic bags. And the box itself was already crushed. And the reason I know it was already kind of crushed is how she taped it. Like, she taped it vertically here. Then she taped it again, like horizontally, almost to kind of keep the box itself together, because it was clearly like half crushed or falling apart. I don't know. But people who are sending or selling luxury items that are truly luxury items, in my experience, don't ship things in a garbage way. Basically, she knew this bag was garbage, and so she was like, well, I'm going to, spend the least amount of money to ship it. I'm not going to invest anything else in shipping this item. So I just buyer beware. Like I said, look at the red flags. Oh, the other red flag, that was number 4. So number 5, the price. So this bag is listed on Fendi's website for $3,190. I paid in the auction style $910. I won the auction at $910. It was only myself and one other person bidding on it. And that's another red flag. Like, typically, you can find great deals on eBay. I'm not saying you can't, but that is like an incredible deal, really. I mean, you're paying less than 30% of what the current list price is of a new style bag. It just didn't add up. Not only current list price, but this is a really popular style right now. Like, everybody has I don't know, I guess you call it kind of like a box tote style bag now. Like, literally everybody has a style bag like this. So this style is super popular. This is not something that, that's trending away just yet. Everyone has this style bag. And so there should have been a lot of people interested in this bag, is my point. So it should have been a lot of different bidders on it, but literally it was just myself and one other person bidding on it. So that was it was a red flag, but I was like, oh, in the back of my mind, I was like, well, this is COVID times. People are either out of work or just, not interested. So I kind of chucked it up to be that. Anyway, so fast forward, like I said, I contacted the seller this morning via text as soon as I got the information from Authenticate First that it was not authentic, in their opinion, because of course all this stuff is based on opinion, and that's fine with me. I didn't spend, and the cost for Authenticate First is $15, and they do it online. You just take pictures, the pictures that they require or request, and they'll tell you which pictures they need based on the item that you're asking them to authenticate. So for this bag, they wanted a picture of the date code, they wanted a picture of the hardware, they wanted a picture of the front of the bag, all the screws, they wanted a picture of that kind of stuff. And they wanted a picture of the tag on the inside, not just the date code, but also the tag. In this particular bag, the tag and the date code are two separate things. They want the front and back of that tag. And then, like I said, typically they get back to you. Like I had some things authenticated in the last like month or so, and they literally had it authenticated within like 15 minutes. But it was during the week. So yesterday was Sunday when I sent it to them. They got back to me this morning, and this was the first item that I had authenticated from them with their new process that came back fake. So, and I think when they suspect something is fake, they do the second opinion within the group. So I think it's two of them. And so when I looked online, it said pending in one section, but then it also said counterfeit in another. So I was kind of confused. I reached out to her, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're waiting on the other person to authenticate to put their opinion in." Anyway, within like 20, 30 minutes, I got back the word that it was not authentic bag. So I immediately emailed the seller, letting her know. Actually, I just put in a request for a refund on eBay. And like I said, eBay, my experience with them has been that they're really good with returns. Even if the seller says they don't allow returns, eBay is pretty, if something is not authentic, they're definitely gonna, my experience, side with the buyer. I've never been asked to give proof that something was not authentic, but I've only bought one other item, or actually I bought two other items that were not authentic in the past, but both items I got my refund. But anyway, so I just put in there request refund, and then the seller and I indicated why that, and I said, hey, according to my authenticators, this is not authentic, so I want a refund. And so the seller immediately texted me back or emailed me back and was like, well, why do you want a refund? Let me actually read what she wrote. Because her response was, why are you requesting the return? ? The bag is new but purchased from Fashionphile ? Yeah, right. And I just indicated, hey, according to my people, it's not. And I didn't even go into the details of the receipt portion because honestly, I don't want this person to realize that Fashionphile is a different receipt, because then I don't want her to like change that part, right? I want her to still be in the dark and think, oh yeah, you got me, or and continue to kind of leave a paper trail for herself of, some way for a potential buyer to recognize that this person is a scammer. So hopefully, by not sharing that information about the receipts, the seller won't get ahead of the game, basically, right? So I just left that part out. I just said, hey, I don't think it's real. It looks used to me as well, but I don't think it's authentic. Based on my authenticators, it's not authentic, so I just want a return. And then she said something, she sent another email. Let me read that one as well. I think when in my email that I sent to her, I said something about I buy from Fashionphile often. And if it's not authentic, I've never purchased anything from Fashionphile that was not authentic. But if you bought this from Fashionphile and it's not authentic, you can, get your money back from Fashionphile. Just, follow up with them. And so this was her response. Oh, I buy from there quite often and never had any issues. I never have any of the items I buy from them authenticated, only because I trust they wouldn't do that to their buyers. I will look into this one though. Yeah, right. So, like I said, this is a person that knows that this is a fake bag. This is not someone who got scammed from Fashionphile. Trust that. Because, like I said again, that receipt is not an authentic Fashionphile receipt. So, just buyer beware. And I will also say this, and I don't plan on, I'm going to send this back today or tomorrow. Today is Monday. Um, I'm not going to like post the person's name or anything like that, but I will follow up with eBay. And I'm going to give this person a bad review because I don't want them to keep scamming people. This person, like I said, I'm sure they've done this before and they've probably gone through the same exact process, and people just don't want to get involved. They just want to get their money back and leave it to somebody else to get scammed or figure it out, basically. But I am gonna, leave a comment. I'm gonna leave a comment after I get my money back. Um, what else was I gonna say? Because I had one other item that I purchased um, probably about I think my first YouTube video I put on here was a Gucci Dionysus Hobo bag. I think it was called Hobo. I can't remember now. But that particular bag I bought on eBay as well, and it was kind of the same scenario, except I don't think it was a auction style. I think I just bought it, and that one as well was like $1,000 cheaper than what it should have been. But same thing. It came back as inauthentic, and the person had this whole elaborate story. Oh, my husband bought it for me overseas and at the store, and I'm sure it's authentic. I've never, I can't believe it's not authentic. These people know exactly what they're doing, so just be careful. Always get your items authenticated, um, and just be careful. Be careful when you buy things on eBay or anybody. So this was kind of a long video, longer than I really wanted it to be. I hope you guys don't mind. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, please make them. And I'll keep you guys posted as far as the return process. She gave me she said she sent me the authorization for a refund, return, and she sent me the return label. So like I said, I'm gonna send this off today and keep you posted and let you guys know what happened. Thanks again for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.